right, there was a Strike Spot video today where they mentioned BLASTAAR being the next legendary character of high interest as well. Some mention of some spider villains, which we're going to take a look, and we have some changes going into Cosmic Crucible and an update and all the bugs and disasters and problems from this week. First things first, the Strike Spot video really didn't have a lot in it. One of the main things that they talked about is that they were not happy with the distribution of red stars on Quasar. So there was a lot of conversation about that. Initially, when I watched the video, I thought that they were going to try to monetize this more because they mentioned it in two different places. But when I rewatched it and went to the second part, it sounded like that they wanted more players to have the full red stars on Quasar. So I did a non-scientific poll here on Twitch, and it looked like 77% of the players that are on Twitch, which are highly engaged players, did have Quasar currently at the maximum amount of red stars, which is 6, leaving 23% of the player base without. And a couple things that were brought up here is maybe some people were skipping the events and just waiting to the third and final event just to do it all at once. And that's, I think, what they were suggested. Or maybe they want more people to have them, is kind of what was also said somewhat implicitly. But lastly, maybe this is their way of incentivizing people to do something to get the diamonds. And maybe that's what they're going to do, is they're going to monetize the diamonds. Well, the diamonds are not of any value if you don't have the 7 reds. So maybe by having a better way of getting the 7 reds, then people are going to be more likely to buy the diamonds. I don't know. Those are just some of my thoughts about that part of the conversation. Then I'm going to mute the music here, which is Need More Spiders, which kind of plays into what they're talking about.
Spider-Man? Is he not a Spider-Man? He's a villain. So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff that I think the characters and combat team is working on.
So they did mess BLASTAAR as being the next legendary. I think that's been widely discussed, but this part of the video where he's talking about spider villains, let's take a look at that. Spider-Man villains coming soon. I thought this was a pretty good post here on Reddit by Zach Jones. They announced today's Strike Spot, that an upcoming, not necessarily next, but upcoming soon team would be some new Spider-Man villains. They flat out said SANDMAN would not be part of them. Yeah, they kind of mentioned that there might be some technical issues with that. I think the closest character that we have in the game to be what SANDMAN would look like would maybe be Swarm. I don't know if that makes any sense, because, he's supposed to be like a bunch of bees. And so SANDMAN is, maybe they couldn't figure out how to do SANDMAN's hair or how to texturize the nipples. Who knows, but not SANDMAN. They're going to put SANDMAN on the team that has MODOK, is what I heard. They flat out said SANDMAN would not be part of the team. Boo. Here are my predictions. HOBGOBLIN, they said, one has an iconic cover. He definitely qualifies. Superior Spider-Man, Orchasm. Forget the way the wording, but is he Spider-Man? Is he a Spider-Man villain? So I think that lines up with Superior Spider-Man storyline. I'm not 100% familiar with it. Scorpion, if they aren't giving SANDMAN, they got to give him us. And then honorable mentions would be Prowler or Hydro-Man. Do I have the Prowler sound on my thing? Oh, I got the Prowler sound on command. Love it. So that is pretty much what was in the Strike Spot. They did also discuss, things like how the negative zone was tedious and 14 days. And they don't want to do that. They did like the overall concept of it, but just the setup of it. And also worth mentioning is in that this Strike Spot here, there was a lot less discussion of facial hair, which was a little bit concerning. I was wondering if they were okay. No discussion about Pathfinder's mustache, no discussion of beards. So they were kind of in rare form today. That was the biggest change that I saw in this last and most recent Strike Spot. Also, somewhat last minute changes. A lot of people think that this has something to do with the cursed, and that the rooms changed, had something to basically being a way of a cursed being more effective in Cosmic Crucible. I haven't looked at all of the details, but it's worth noting if you're setting up your defense right now. There were 2 changes, and it was kind of out of nowhere, in my opinion. We are replacing stages 3 and 6 of the current season of Cosmic Crucible and replacing with the fall. Let me zoom in a little bit. Stage 3, best offense. On defense and offense, all characters on turn, bury yourself for 5% of the character's max health and flip offense down on self. On turn, if this character's barrier is above 50%, gain offense up. And then, seems somewhat generic actually. I'm sure there's ways of taking advantage of that. 6, health insurance on defense and offense. On turn, characters remove all positive effects on self and heal 10% of max health for each positive effect removed. And then also they mentioned that they are actively working with Dossier, who was in a video with me not that long ago. The winner of the last Envoy 5C tournament to come up with the Room 6 rules for Season 17. A lot of people speculated that once he found out that I did not do the 14 days of negative zone and got a 1 diamond, and he did and got a 1 diamond, apparently he threw his headset and it broke. And so that the next season's Room 6 name will be Dossier's broken headset. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's truthful. Boy, most of the stuff I've said in this video is just kind of out of nowhere. Don't take me that seriously. All right, update on issues. There's a bunch of issues this week. It's kind of been a problematic week, actually. And so we're going to go over what they are going to do or what they have done. So first things first, Command Center progress was not counted for the Franklin Richards Showcase. Issue has been resolved, and you can now earn the points from your showcase event. If you have already completed the nodes, you can auto the nodes to claim your progress. So you have to go back in, and I think it was 3 nodes. I don't know. It was like 1, 3, and 6. I could be, no, 3, 4, and 6. I don't remember. But if you go and sim the nodes, you'll get credit in the Command Center. And that's what was a weekly mission. For a short period of time, you could purchase Fantastic Four MCU diamonds using a cursed diamond credits. And so I was able to purchase with the cursed diamond credits a diamond on Franklin. We remove any diamonds obtained from all players or refund the cursed diamond credits to your account. That's already happened for me. I can confirm that they credited me back the 80 cursed diamond credits. If you purchased the cursed diamond credits during the time frame they were available because of this issue, will refund you in ultra cores for these purchases and remove any leaderboard points and the cursed diamond credits that you received from these offers. Fine. Then Mr. Fantastic MCU Path to Orb offers were unintentionally giving Invisible Woman MCU Path to Orb. So the offer had the picture and it said that it was for Mr. Fantastic, but then when you clicked on the offer and you clicked on the orb, they were in fact Invisible Woman MCU Path to Orbs, and that was wrong for at least 3 hours on the day of release. If you use Mr. Fantastic MCU in a versus battle and any stars, it would count toward using Mr. Fantastic MCU at all star levels for the Diamond Leaderboard for Franklin Richards. And there was another place too. It wasn't just the Diamond Leaderboard, but the post here is mostly about that. But it also credited something in the Command Center. We're going to normalize all of the scoring methods for using Mr. Fantastic MCU so all players can earn these points without needing to do a versus battle if you have Mr. Fantastic unlocked. So it still requires unlocking Mr. Fantastic. And so a lot of people were speculating that Scopely was doing 40 chests just to get me to purchase Mr. Fantastic early, because I was going to kind of stall it until Franklin came out, but this little issue, they tricked me, right? There was 40 chests on Scopely. They did it on purpose, right? To ensure leaderboard integrity, players will be granted points based on Yellow Star status of their Mr. Fantastic at the time of the event's end. And this should not extend the leaderboard payout for very long. Those competing in the leaderboard points will be awarded the following amounts. So people that did actually go through and purchase him up to a 7 yellow will have, the following points added to their account. So this kind of makes it right for people that did spend. All right. Then they also brought up an issue. My best guess is that they were trying to get ahead of an issue on this before, screenshots popped up on Reddit. 4 players received extra shards of null, allowing them to get 7 yellow stars sooner than intended, rolling back the additional shards that were not intended to be received from these players. So, I think what could have happened is that screenshots get out of this and people say, well, why didn't I get the 7 yellow and everybody in the game got it but me, and compensation. So in the past, we don't really believe Scopely. That's typically our plan, is that when they give us feedback saying it was a small number of players. We just don't believe them because there's no trust, right? And so I think that the idea here is they're just getting ahead of that conversation and actually stating the exact number and how they rectified it. What's worse, in the past, they've done something like a very small number of players got XYZ bonus stuff, and you saw all the screenshots, and we're not going to do anything because it's too complicated to unwind. And trust me, bro, it was a small number, but for some reason, when it's actually a small number, then they go out of their way to actually roll back those accounts. And then lastly, this is for me because I'm a boomer. Please increase the font size of Danger Room buff options. And I've got like the largest phone, and it's a little bit small to me. I know on my tablet, not so much, or when I play on my PC, it's okay. I'm old, and my optimistic sucks. I have to screenshot it so I can blow up the 4-point font and actually read it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And I've got like LASIK, so I can read anything. I don't need that. And it's still kind of small in my opinion. All right, that'll do it for today. Bye for now.